to introduce one of the living women on the face of the planet that I adore. Besides being a Namibian politician, she is the founder of the Children's World Crèche in Okatutura. She studied project development at the university in Zambia, Pan-African Institute. She's the chairperson of the NAMA Technical Committee and have coordinated memory and reconciliation politics of the local communities. She was instrumental, together with our belated chief, Kwai Marirwako, in the restitutions of human remains to Namibia in 2011, and continued to be steadfast warrior, heroine, about the issues of genocide. Please welcome Honorable Ida Hoffman.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremony. Everybody present here today, all protocol observed. I first wanted to start with, we are here today in Germany, right here in this land of the conquest. This land of the Kaisers, this land of the past imperialists, this land of the chancellors, yes, the German decision makers, whose decisions have done Namibia and the Namibians damages. This land of the first wealth, the land built on colonial gains. Yes, and the price that our ancestors, our people have paid for this was the extermination order, where they have killed our people. The bones in Namibia are all over that country. Houses and government buildings, schools, you can name, are built on the bones of our ancestors, the Namas and the Hereros. Yes, our ancestors' skulls and remains are here in Germany. And you know, those skulls, skeletons, all things here in this country, Freiburg, in the houses, and we can name, they cannot speak on behalf of themselves. We are here today and all the days to speak on behalf of them and want reparation to be paid, whether they like it or not, the German government. Not compensation, we talk about reparation. And we want that all these skulls remains to be back in Namibia, so that we can give a decent burial for our ancestors. And also say the word of let their souls rest in peace. Yes, and in Berlin, hallowed, revered, respected homes of the German people, home of the refined nation, home of the advanced people. Berlin is advanced illustration, but to me, Berlin is a distrust. It is a dark city with dark secrets of skulls and other human remains hidden in its dark and secret basements and laboratoriums, university institutions of higher learning, and private homes. And Berlin is a city which has deprived my country and my people from the famed Bundestag chambers and the Bundesrat. This city has failed to answer the noble call of justice for genocide and still cause my country continued and outrageous damages. And we are here from Namibia, a country on the other side of this world. The country is so deprived and underprivileged by the very actions of the German people against it now for over a century. Namibia is reeling under the German colonial yoke, the pressures of which are building up. They are building up in the form of poverty, starvation, hunger, uncontrollable diseases. And yet, Namibia is called a friend of Germany. This impoverished land of Namibia by Germany, how can Germany call Namibia its friend? While all along it has been in the business of impoverishing Namibia and Namibians. Germany has been impoverishing Namibia now for over a century. And yet Germany still retains that audacity to call Namibia a friend. Two unequal people, one dominating, diminishing the other, killing the other, murdering and plundering the other, exterminating the other, cannot call each other friends. Bilateral agreement. We are unequal, Namibia and Germany. Germany has made sure of that, and we are not friends, not at this point in time. Namibia must be rebuilt and reach the point of a developed and sustainable country. The status Germany has taken away from it for over a century now. And then, and only then, can we be, after we have reached that point of equality, after we have truly reconciled our differences, called each other friends. But we cannot be friends. Our historical interests of the Namibian past at this point in time speak distinctively to the extermination platforms and played themselves of offering the German colonial occupation of Namibia, which platforms ended up in the notorious extermination orders and Germany actions of extermination of the Nama and the Herero people. Those asserted, and infamously, this reputable action and events of the Germans that led to the extermination, disenfranchisement, and the dispossessions of the Nama and the Herero victims are the very same events of destructions that have brought us here to Germany to state our case, isn't it? The historical interest particularly zeroes in our, specifically the events of 1904 up to 1908. With the brief touch of the events that preceded that horrible time genocide, we will return to the most pivotal time that took a huge toll on our nation. The unfortunate events have their beginning at the very entry of the German invaders in Namibia. Germans entered Namibia during 1884, most notable at Ludgerspy. The Germans came to Namibia with deadly forces and intent to kill, and turn the once peaceful land into an area of destructions. Even through the wars, stopped the destructions remained for over a century, leaving dangers behind that have been destroying the people of the South relentlessly for over 100 years, a century now. The sordid, unimaginable turn of events that first was prompted by the defeat the Germans suffered at the hands of the Nama warriors, who stood up against the German intruders who invaded Namibia for their own greed-filled desires, have laid waste of the South and its people. It was a dangerous time as the invasion of the Germans to be living in. The Nama believed in their rights to bear arms and protect themselves. Each man, each leader, each woman had to make sure to keep their families and people under protections all the time. The Germans did not believe in the Namas to possess arms. Still, the Nama believed in protecting themselves, their liberty and the property. Property, liberty, security, and their land were the reasons to wage those numerous battles against the German intruders. Those irreconcilable differences between the Nama, the inhabitants of the South, and the invaders from Germany precipitated ongoing conflicts which prompted several wars between the Nama and the Germans. Battles and war broke out of the well-known wars in the early parts of the past century, known as the German Nama. War took place in the early parts of the last century, was fought by the celebrated Abraham Morris, Jacob Marengo, Samuel Ovaherero. Dispute started to erupt between the invading German forces and the Nama people, the Herero people, several issues, including land, the right to bear arms, and property being confiscated and simply just taken from the Nama by the Germans. Continued skirmishes became the order of the day between the Germans and the Namas in the South. The Germans, desperate to dispose the Nama, and the Nama refusing to bow down to the demands of the Germans. Hendrik Witbooi, that undisputable anti-colonial warrior, resisting the Germans' subjugations, will forever be celebrated in Namibia for this courage and the bravery that sets the stage for colonial resistance. Today, we offer salute to him and the other fallen warriors, Jacob Marengo, Abraham Morris, Hendrik Witbooi, Samuel Ovaherero. There were several other battles in which the Germans sustained heavy, humiliating losses. The Germans know for their superiority on the battlefields. The world over couldn't take that from the Nama, and they retaliated with rage and destructions. Under the extermination order of 1905, following right the heels of the extermination order of 1904 against the Herero, we all know the disreputable extermination order pronounced against the Nama, stated in essence after the equality famous Lothar von Trotha is done with the Nama. Not a single Nama was to be left alive. He stated, wipe them all out. Shark Island was the sense of the notorious German destruction of the Namibian people after the German have been defeats by the Nama in several decisive battles, rape, murder, killings, hanging, lynching. You know also, women was laying there for days. And the jackals came and was eating the breasts of the women. That is what our people have went through.